If you feel like it's hard to find a job in this market, you are not wrong, especially if you are in tech. Hiring Lab has come out with their February jobs report, and it is telling us the tech job market is a dumpster fire. Tech-related job postings are down 25% since pre-pandemic levels. That's 2.7% in the last 3 months. The last quarter, we lost 2.7% more tech-related jobs. They're a mess. Now, it's not all bad news. Out of the 47 sectors that we track in Hiring Labs, we're down by about 16. So 16 of those are showing down in jobs, and a bunch more are showing up. So that's 39 that are showing positive numbers versus the pre-pandemic totals. We're going to take a look at these numbers in depth. We'll let you know which sectors have the most growth, where you were seeing the most additional jobs in our market, and we'll tell you the sectors where we're seeing the least. Stick with me. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you a quick favor. I'd like to ask you to like, comment, even subscribe to this thing. I put out this kind of content on a regular basis, and we follow the job market and how to get hired. The best ways for you to find a better thing. Let's go ahead and dive in to this jobs update for February. And this comes from hiringlabs.org. Now, this is a nonprofit team that sits primarily funded by Indeed. You can find all of their materials at hiringlabs.org free of charge, including raw data that they let you download and manipulate and analyze on your own. I'm pulling this from their February report they published just now. And it does tell us that tech-related jobs are down 25%. We actually heard about some new tech layoffs recently. Snapchat is going to lay off. Okta is laying off. DocuSign is having a layoff. We know that these things are happening right now. And we're seeing this slowdown for a couple of different reasons. On the tech side, they're being much more quick to adopt AI. So you have AI showing up for coding. You have AI showing up for validation and testing. You're having AI show up for jobs that have traditionally been software developers' jobs. The AI is starting to do for organizations instead of having software developers do those things. That's the primary reason that people are saying that we're seeing so many fewer jobs. The other thing that happened is that we overstaffed coming out of the pandemic. We overstaffed tech. People just had a binge after not being able to have enough people to do what they needed to do. They binged on hiring people and realized they were heavy on that front, and then cut really deep. They've cut really deep into that, and even a little deeper than they were before the pandemic. So that's of real concern for us, and we're going to see that. The chart that I'm showing right now is the share of occupational sectors with postings above pre-pandemic baseline. So you'll see that it has been slowly declining since 2022. We're seeing the jobs slowly decline, and I think this is a common thing that's happening. And we're actually better off in the U.S. than many of our counterparts in other parts of the world. Europe is really particularly hard hit in this space. Next, take a look at the tech-specific chart. Man, what a mess this is. So you can see the pre-pandemic levels here on the far left where it says 100. So that 100 is our baseline. We dipped down during the COVID timeframe, and then you see this huge ramp up, this spike. And this is when we felt it. We felt like we couldn't find enough people to fill all the jobs. 2021, 2022. And then starting at the end of 2022, we had the slide. And man, this is a slide if you're in the tech job market. It is a hot mess. Super steep drop in the tech market. And it slowed. That's the good news. The drop has slowed once we got to that 100% parity with the pre-pandemic numbers. But it's still down. Not only is it down, it's down 22% from the number of available jobs that we had in pre-pandemic times. Big concern. It's not stopped yet. This is still on a downward trend, 2.9% down in the last 3 months. So we'll keep an eye on that. Specifically, the largest decreases in job postings, this is from Indeed, largest decreases in job postings Software development down 28%. Information design and doc 26%. Mathematics. Remember those super hard to find data scientist jobs? Mathematics down 19%. Marketing down 18%, and then media and communication down 14%. So top three definitely are tech sector jobs. Marketing is definitely concerning as well. And finally, media and communications. Maybe it's because everybody's just turning into their own YouTuber. Don't you think? Could be. All right, the sectors with the largest increases in postings. Now, this is what we're looking at is before the pandemic. So 2020, February 1, 2020 to February 1 of 2024. And we have 102% more job postings for physicians and surgeons, and then 83% more for therapy. Here's what's crazy. Do we really need that many more doctors? Like, did all the doctors decide to retire? And it may be that that's the case. The doctors decided to retire during COVID. They're like, I've had enough of this. I'm not doing this job anymore. Therapists were seeing the same thing. Civil engineers, 82% more jobs available. So if you're a software engineer, you went through an engineering program of some sort, maybe civil engineering is the next step for you. Who knows? Personal care and home health. This is going to continue to rise as we see boomers aging. That's a big population. We're going to need more and more personal and home health care. That's up 68%. That's going to continue on that path for a while. And finally, pharmacy. Pharmacy is up 55%. So a lot of action in that space. One thing to keep an eye on is the remote jobs. So the remote jobs that we all came to know and love, those have been up and down over a period of time. We were pretty excited to see those skyrocket in 2022. And if you look at the jobs now based on Indeed's charts, they have the fully remote, the high remote versus the middle remote. Middle remote be like those hybrid jobs, and then low remote jobs that are very rarely remote, typically in the office. The high and the middle and the low remote jobs, those are in lockstep. You're seeing those trend along the same lines, but those high remote jobs dropping like a rock. And we actually have fewer remote jobs posted now than we did before the pandemic. How wild is that? Fewer. You would have thought there would be more, but there's less fully remote jobs now than there were before the pandemic. I thought the pandemic gave us some help on this space, but clearly that was not the case. That's it for this quick update on the job market. Stick with me. I jump on this channel on a regular basis and talk about what's happening in the labor market, including the dumpster fire we have here in technology jobs. See you next time.